Alright, what is up, my peoples? It is K-Rod here, back with another good video today. I wanted to cover Gervonta Davis versus Leah Santa Cruz fight card, post-fight reaction. That fight, in my opinion, was a very, very good fight. I had a lot of fun watching that fight for the sake of, you know, having an actual, like, how should I say, having like a very good time, you know, looking at how the fight went down, and just the, I guess, the totality of like what's been going on. Either way, it was a very fun fight, and you know, I think it could have went a little bit further, but Gervonta did his thing. He, you know, beat the living crap out of Leah Santa Cruz, and, you know, he did his thing, man. You know, I think honestly, he did what he had to do. But at the end of the day, that was a very fun fight, and I had a lot of fun watching the other fights. You know, especially with the first fight with Isaac. Who's that one kid? Isaac Cruz, right? Yeah, Isaac Cruz. He's the guy that beat Diego Magdaleno. But yeah, this kid, he's really good, man. You know, he really comes out to fight, and I'm really happy that this kid is actually fighting at a higher level now, because he just had it. Like, you know, even though that he had a really good stellar performance against a Diego Magdaleno, he still came out to fight. He is a very good fighter. 5'4", 135 pounder, very short, basically on Tank's height level, but it really doesn't surprise me because he's a very good fighter and he knows how to fight. So it's already coming to that point where you have to be ready on your toes for a guy like him. But either way, it was good, because this kid, he fights very aggressive, and he just be taking people out like crazy. But, you know, I like his style. I like how he goes, and he fights very, you know, collected. But either way, it was a very, you know, good fight. He dominated Diego, and hats off to him, and I hope he does fight guys like, you know, Javier Fortuna, George Kambosos Jr., Richard Comey, or Devin Haney, or whoever. Either way, I want to see Let the Smoke, because, you know, I want to see real, you know, fights, because I think that would be really fun to see something like that. But also, let's cover the other fights that weren't covered. Michelle Rivera versus Ladarius Miller. That never got any undercard attention. That fight itself was very interesting. You know, he beat Ladarius to the punch. He did what he had to do, and you know, it was a good fight. But, you know, I was actually very surprised that my boy Michelle, he never got any TV time. And this is what I'm talking about, man. You know, like, boxing really needs to start giving everyone TV time, and then those that aren't good enough to be on TV, they shouldn't be on the card to begin with. So either way, that, like, you know, that was just very disrespectful, because just like the amount of, you know, like the amount of tenacity that was put into this fight card, you know, it was insane, man. Like, I was actually surprised to just see the level of competition going at it, and people just doing what they had to do. And, you know, it was crazy, man. You know, I really thought that it could have went, you know, a little bit deeper, but I guess with this whole COVID BS, it definitely had a much bigger effect on trying to get enough money together to get more fights, because usually a typical boxing, you know, fight, you know, like a full card would at least be like 10 to 15 fights, or 20 at most. But either way, it's pretty good, because it gives people more time to kind of look things through and, enjoy the moment for what's being shown. But either way, I liked it. It was a very interesting fight for Michelle Rivera defeating Ladarius Miller in a impressive fashion. But moving on with the next fights, Ryan Carl versus who else? Mario Barrios. Or wait, no, actually, before we even get to that, let's talk about Regis Prograis versus Juan Heraldez. That fight itself was very good. I enjoyed it. It had a lot of good fights coming in, and it was crazy what these people were doing, because a lot of people were thinking that Regis was going to get tagged by Juan Heraldez and Heraldez was going to defeat him. But that obviously wasn't true. Regis, beat the living crap out of Juan. I'm sorry to even say that, because I actually like Juan Heraldez. I've seen a pretty good clip out of him, and he did what he had to do. And unfortunately, Regis, he came in and dominated him. So either way, it was a pretty good fight, and I actually enjoyed it. I thought Regis really could have went a bit longer, but that Super Series tournament got him way better, and it's already coming to fruition of what's going on, because it's making everything a lot more susceptible to boxers' talents to make sure a fighter knows best of how to get better in the ring. And unfortunately, for Juan, he just wasn't at that level, and I think Juan, he's gonna get a lot better after this, and I really hope to see him rack up more wins in the future to dominate. Other fights, Julian Rodorte, he had a unanimous decision over Jose Morales. Really good kid. I like him. He should have been on TV. He wasn't on TV, and this is this is what I'm talking about. These young fighters don't get put on TV, and it's very disrespectful to the sport. But yeah, Anthony Cuba, he got a TKO victory against Leon Calabali. Yeah, that white kid that does MMA, which is really weird. Knocked him out in 3 rounds at 2 minutes of the 4-rounder that was scheduled. Very decent performance, but I think Anthony Cuba, he's going to be the next big thing. He's a very damn good fighter out of Fontana, California. 17 years old, 5'8". I think he fights at, what? Yeah, he fights at 135, so yeah, I say everybody watch out for Anthony Cuba. Very, very good kid. Jerry Perez versus Joshua Zuniga. That fight never happened, unfortunately. I don't know what was the reason behind that, but I found that very disrespectful of how, I don't even know, man. I really wanted to see Jerry Perez, go at it with Joshua, but I don't know what happened. So hopefully maybe they could fight each other on a different fight date, maybe on Devin Haney's card. I would like to see that. That would definitely give fighters the chance to show out. But yeah, that would be pretty good. Like I said, off to the next fight, Michelle Rivera versus Ladarius Miller. I found that very disrespectful. He should have been on TV. Michelle, he's a beast. Very good kid. And then moving on forward, we have Mario Barrios versus Ryan Carl. This fight was really fun. Barrios, he just basically picked Ryan apart. And Ryan, even though this was his first world title opportunity, he did very well. I think Ryan just needs to work on defense, and honestly, I can see Ryan coming back into the mix. This is his very first shot, so it's not like he's never going to be, able to contend for a world title. All he really needs is probably maybe a fight or two, and then boom, that's it. He can easily get back into the rankings. But either way, Ryan Carl, he fought his ass off as best he can, and unfortunately, Mario, he just picked him apart like Roy Jones Jr., sadly. But Mario Barrios, I tip my hats off to him. But Ryan Carl, I really wanted him to win this fight because Ryan, he's such a really deadly puncher. But you know, if he had caught Mario with some really good shots, which he did, he definitely would have got Mario hurt, and Mario wouldn't have survived. Honestly, I think Mario Barrios needs to fight Jose Zepeda or Ivan Baranchyk, or fight a guy like Batir Akhmedov, which I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to fight him anymore because he knows Akhmedov, he got his number. Like, you know, Mario Barrios, he's good for now, but coming to superstardom, into big boy boxing, like big game boxing, of like bigger fights, I think Mario, he's gonna get stopped because, you know, he's good, he can fight, but at the same time, like, his tenacity is not there. He cannot take punches from guys that are heavy fisted, and he does not like pressure. I'm just keeping that real because I seen that when he faced Ryan Carl. He got pressured and he didn't like it, so he had to push Ryan back in order to solidify his offense to make Ryan get stopped and TKO'd, unfortunately. So, yeah, good job for Mario. Let's see what will happen in his next appearance. It would be interesting to see where that will go, and hopefully Ryan Carl can come back into the mix and challenge for, you know, world title shot opportunity soon. So, congratulations to both men putting on the greatest performance I've seen in a while. And now, the main event of all main events, Gervonta Tank Davis versus Leo El Terramundo. Yeah, I need to work on his last name. Leo Santa Cruz, main event, world title shot for the WBA super featherweight title and the lightweight title unification. So, you know, this was a very fun fight. I thought Gervonta, he almost got exposed by Leo, but Gervonta is Gervonta. He's a very good fighter, and you should never doubt him for what he does with his punches. But either or, this is a fun fight. Gervonta was working Leo pretty good in the early round, but when Leo was trying to, like, get his pressure on Gervonta just kept walking right through him, and Gervonta, he hit Leo with some mean hooks. Gervonta was giving Leo the hands, and it was good. I actually enjoyed it, but either way, it was a very crazy fight of boxing, and it came down to the wire when Leo did hit Gervonta pretty bad in round 5, but then Gervonta, he just came back and he just beat the living crap out of Leo. It was already bad enough of, like, what he was doing in the fight. And actually, on that same night with the UFC, Uriah Hall defeated Anderson Silva in his last fight. So I just wanted to put that out there, but I'm not really going to cover UFC, probably not for a while, because there's really nothing interesting yet about it. So I'll probably come back to it or talk about it soon in the future. But either way, Gervonta hit Leo with a good right uppercut to his face, or left uppercut, and it was just so disrespectful because when Leo was on the ropes, he should have got out of there, but he was sitting right by his father, and, you know, it was just bad enough where, you know, like, Gervonta was literally pressuring Leo, and he had no, like Leo had no answer against him, and he just got destroyed. He literally got destroyed in the corner, and then when Leo was trying to, like, use his offense as a means of defense, Gervonta just waited and he hard countered him, and it was the most craziest knockout I have seen in quite a while. Gervonta literally just worked Leo with that crazy uppercut, and boom, KO'd him, and it was disrespectful. That is how insane, you know, the fight got, and you know, it was insane, man. Like, I was kind of, like, thinking about Leo's health, because I thought Leo died, to be honest. I thought Leo was never going to get back up, and that was some really, really hard punches that Leo took from Gervonta, but that left uppercut to just seal the deal, that was a Mortal Kombat move. That was not a boxing move. That was like some Liu Kang mixed with some Ermac or, you know, Scorpion fused. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. But either or, it was a very, very fun fight to watch. Gervonta KO'd the shit out of Leo Santa Cruz. But much love to the Mexican people that actually support real fighters like Cruz, not fake fighters like Canelo, Saul shit Alvarez. Yes, that was a fight. And that's what the sport needs. If boxing requires high upper echelon competition, then it needs it. It really does. You know, let the men need to start fighting the best, and good enough for the women, they try to, but the women, they need to have 3-minute rounds and 12-round fights. What's you know, I don't see where the holdup is, because, you know, it's really disrespectful to fighters that want to have more time to fight, but then fighters that, you know, fight fighters on short notice or whatever, you know, stipulations that get in the way. You know, it's not really making the sport any better, and you know, that needs to be fixed up. But either or, you know, guys need to stop ducking other dudes, man. You know, it's already bad enough, you know, with how dangerous the sport is, but you know, like, you don't see LeBron James avoiding other basketball players. He's not gonna come out of his way and say, "Oh, I can't go up against like my rivals today in this tough anticipated Clippers game against Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So, you know, I'm just gonna sit out. I'm gonna sit out for every Lakers versus Clippers game, which is the most craziest rivalry games in all of NBA history. But I'm never going to sit out for every other game that I play." That would give LeBron so much hate that he would lose so much money, and he would have no choice but to go back out and play, because LeBron James is a king for a reason. Granted, I don't like everything out of LeBron James. I don't think LeBron James is TBE, greatest of all time, but LeBron James, he's up there. He proved himself against all the upper echelons, and you know, that's the same thing with Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose, if he hadn't gotten injured and he found his right pieces to his team, Derrick Rose would have been a champion. Imagine Derrick Rose and LeBron James together. Nobody would want the smoke. But my point is that every other sport, except for boxing, no athlete avoids any other athlete. But for boxing somehow has this problem where a fighter doesn't want to fight another fighter, but you're in the fighter's division. But even if you move up to another division, that fighter will still chase you, no matter what the, you know, cost may be. It doesn't matter. This is the sport you wanted to get into, so you need to play your part into the sport. And I think that's what's gonna have to make the sport better, when fighters have to come to some fighting, you know, organization where everyone is required to fight the best. Like, if you want to become a world champion, you have to fight all the top fighters in your division. And like I was saying to Kara in my interview, I believe that there needs to be super tournaments that fighters need to join. I don't know if it should be forced, but it should definitely be a higher upper echelon tournament to say, okay, if you wish to join this tournament, you have to fight the best if you want to get to the world title quicker. But if you don't want to, you still have to fight your wild card fighters that will be in competition to your rank as a fighter. So like, if you choose not to fight like any of like your, you know, lower, you know, below rank opponents, and let's just say those opponents went into like the super tournament, and then they, you know, started to get bigger wins over other fighters, then, you know, your rank will be at risk of losing, because you need to fight those guys in order to keep your spot to be ready for the champion. So I think that would be a good way to get more fighters active, throughout like the whole year of boxing, so that way there's no huge ass, you know, layoffs, and fighters could actually stay active all year round to join tournaments, to get into big prize money fights and to have fighting organizations similar to the UFC. I think boxing really does need that because, you know, if you compare the UFC to a league like the World Combat League, which I think George, who's that other guy? I forgot that guy that, you know, ran the WCL, but it'll come back to me. But he's like the guy that acted in a couple movies, but I'm not going to get into that. But either way, if you have organizations where there's going to be a one face, one name in every division, and every fighter has the opportunity to get a world title, which they just have to fight like their better competition. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense because you could become a multiple time division world champion because every mandatory would be a champion coming from that division. So it's better to have it that way. Because I was originally thinking boxing titles should be limited to 3 titles, and then it's still a one face, one name, and you have to fight your mandatories. And if you wish to get into a unification, you have to fight, you know, their mandatories. Well, actually, no, that wouldn't make any sense. You have to fight the champion, and then after you fight the champion, you have to defend your title against that mandatory if you beat the champion, to hold your spot, and then you can move to other belts. And then every belt organization would have to, you know, have mandatory fights and make sure fighters are, you know, screened properly, and then have the best fight the best, and one face, one name for every belt division. I think that's what boxing, you know, would be successful in. You know, I don't mind having multiple belts in boxing, but there shouldn't be any avoidance of competition for the fights. And on top of that, for the big fights that fighters get into, to get to the belt that they want to fight for, their rankings should be built off of the rank of the fighter that beat the other fighter, not off of the performance, off of some politically biased, you know, information of the fighter, like hyping up a fighter. That's what I'm saying. So I think that's, you know, what the fix is that boxing needs. But either or, credit to Gervonta Davis, he came out to fight, and Leo Santa Cruz, he gave it what he got, but good enough that he got back up from a horrific KO that was very embarrassing because he got KO'd in front of his father, and his father was, you know, almost crying for him. But either way, I hope Gervonta makes his move towards other big fights, and I would like to see him fight Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez. Shit, I mean, if Tio's not available, I'd say go after a guy like I don't know, like, who else could Gervonta face? Because Gervonta, he can basically probably fight. I always keep forgetting. I think he could fight who else? Like, I know that he could move up in weight, but yeah, let's see. Maybe I don't know, super featherweight. Oh yeah, he could fight Shakur. I would like to see that. Shakur, maybe Miguel Burchett, Tevin Farmer. I don't even know. I probably don't even want to see that. That doesn't seem big fights. But definitely Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Teofimo Lopez. Those are the biggest names he needs to conquer if he wants to, you know, go to superstardom. And maybe fight Lomachenko. Maybe get his opportunity. I really want to see Lomachenko get knocked out. So that'd be a very fun fight to watch, and hopefully Gervonta can make those fights happen. But I'd say next fight, definitely fight Devin Haney or Teofimo, or even fight Shakur. But if Ryan Garcia is somehow next, which is weird, I'd probably say maybe do that and let Devin and Tio fight each other, and then the winner fights, you know, Gervonta. if they become successful. And Ryan could be a part of the mix too. Alright, so that's pretty much what I got to share with y'all guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace. Thank you.